Hello and welcome to Whiskey and Wool. My name is Shannon and I am going to talk to you today about knitting and spinning. No other crafts this week. Actually, I have not talked about other crafts in probably about a year. It's just been those two. I'm coming to you from northern New Jersey. We are experiencing a tropical storm this weekend. So I have my studio lights out for the first time in forever. So if the lighting looks a little different, that's why. It's a super rainy, cloudy day. I think it'll work. I think it works. We'll see. So much has happened. I'm a little late getting out an episode to you. Last week I went to a friend's house for the weekend. It was my first time leaving my house for more than the grocery store or getting my car maintenance done in 4 months. It was really nice to see my friends. I went to visit one friend, and another friend came to also visit. It was really wonderful to see them. I got a lot of spinning done because it is tour de fleece. So I took my spinning wheel. My spinning wheel is a Kromski Sonata, and it folds. If I remember, I will, because it's tour de fleece, I will film me spinning a bit today so that I can put clips in either at the beginning or the end or both. But I have a Kromski Sonata which folds in half and packs up into a really big made-for-it padded bag, and it travels. So it's very big, but it travels. It looks like a huge oversized backpack when you have it. But anyway, it's nice that I can travel with that spinning wheel. So when I was doing my first playthrough, my record through, I didn't stop for the whiskey chat. So I'm stopping for the whiskey chat now. And I'm going to show you a whiskey, talk to you about a whiskey that I think you should know about. I'll share with you. I'll be recording it later in the day today, as it is still quite early here. Too early for a whiskey, at least now. At least for me. But you enjoy. All right. It is later in the day. It's still pouring rain. I went out and ran some errands, so my hair just got like completely soaked. I took off my makeup. Anyway, today we're going to taste the Glenlivet 15 year, oh camera, and 18 year. There we go. I have 2 little samples. A friend of mine thought it would be fun to do a comparison of the 15 and 18 from the Glenlivet. Let me tell you a little bit about that distillery. They are located in the Speyside region. That's in the Highland area of Scotland. I'll put a map on here. I think they might have been the first distillery that got their license when Scottish law changed, or UK law changed, to allow Scotland to produce and sell whiskey legally. So they were established in 1824. They say on their site that they were the first ones to get their license. 1822 was when it became legal. George Smith was the man who got the license and established the legal distilling of the Glenlivet. They'd been making it for many years illegally, so as many of these distilleries were. On their website, they say that the King, George IV, came to Scotland and asked for a wee dram of Glenlivet, and that was why it became legal. Myth, story, truth, maybe, who knows? Not really sure. So through the years, it has remained in the hands of the Smith family or relatives that it seems like it's still a family-owned business. I don't see, yeah, usually you can see where they got bought out. In the 1950s, so it's a very, very well-known whiskey, and in the 1950s, they famously put little travel-sized bottles on planes and trains and in automobiles. So it became very, very well known. They did a smashing job marketing. And that is why it's probably one of the best known whiskeys of the day. And I would suspect that some of the other Glen names that start with Glen were trying to ride the coattails a bit of this distillery since they were the innovator in the beginning. They ended up putting the in front of Glenlivet because there were so many distilleries copying them. They're located in a beautiful region. I don't have any really good pictures, but let me see if I can find some. They're located in a beautiful region, in a park-like setting, and I didn't find anything that was special about the way they distill their whiskey, aside from the 15-year. So let me tell you about the 15-year. The 15-year Glenlivet is distilled in, I hope I say this right, Limousin oak casks, which formerly had French cognac in them. So Limousin is a region, Limoges region, where the town city Limoges is in France. That's very unique. As we normally see a mixture of oak and sherry casks, which is what the 18-year is distilled in. A mixture. Usually they spend the many years, most of the years in the oak casks and American oak casks or European oak casks, and then they're finished in sherry casks. That's what happened with the 18-year. With the 15-year, though, it stayed in the Limousin oak casks for its entire time, and there's no finishing. It's a single cask. There's no finishing in another cask. So we would expect that some of those cognac flavors would be imparted in the whiskey flavor. So that I can tell you. So I have the whiskey, the 15-year in my wee dram, in my tasting dram. I didn't pour out the whole bottle, of course. This is I don't even know, 50 milliliters. I just poured out a taste since I'm doing 2 of them. I didn't want to, go to bed so early, I guess. All right, this is what the distillery themselves say. They said we could see a deep, intense gold color. On the nose, it has a very smooth, creamy smell. It's funny, it's been sitting here a little bit with the water in it since I poured it. And earlier I thought I smelled some orange, some like citrus in there. But I'm not smelling that now. Okay, so they say I should be smelling butter. Let's see, let's try it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, it's really good. There's like a subtlety in the flavors. I got the what frequently happens with some of the ones that I've been tasting. You get this fruity, chocolatey sometimes, but always like this fruit flavor, whether it's red fruits or stone fruits or something like that. And then you get hit with spice, but there's something else in the background. So you get that fruit spice taste in the beginning, but then in the background, there's this other thing happening. I don't know what it is. I assume it's, something that has to do with the cognac. I can't put my finger on it. I'm going to jump over to Flavier.com. Oh, so price too. The 15-year price is around $65, where the 18-year price is more like $110, $115, even $120. Okay, so Flavier says antique gold, like your grandfather's pocket watch, floral buttercream, and almond on the nose. I could smell the almond. Yeah, there's like that sort of marzipan-y taste or a smell. And then peaches and cream up front with an almost Chardonnay oakiness in the background. And then oaky, playful, spicy bite at the end. But I think that oak taste stays, you taste it pretty quickly. So it's in the middle and goes all the way to the end, I would say. You get that fruit flavor first with a little bit of spice, and then it just goes to spice and oak and then oak. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Let's see about the 18-year. I used my bigger Deanston dram. All right. I'm going to go to... Whoops. All right. I just want to tell you. So this one is distilled in a American oak cask for, let's see if it tells me how long, for quite a while, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I clicked away and need to find my way back. They have a fairly wide collection too. They have a 50-year. They have several 50 years. 25-year, 21-year, 18-year, 12-year. Caribbean Reserve, which usually with the Caribbean Reserves, they're what you expect. Like you would get some of those tropical flavors, like coconut maybe, or pineapple, citrus. Okay, the 18-year. It says it's a whiskey for special occasions, which at $115 or $20, you could imagine. Old gold apricot color. First fill is American oak. Oh shoot, they keep sending me pop-ups. Let's see. American oak, which imparts tropical fruitiness, and then an ex-sherry oak for spicy complexity. This results in a deft navigation of distilling arts in a gorgeous single malt that is complex, yet elegant and balanced. Okay. There's like this red fruit, maybe even apricot on the nose, like plum, apricot, like kind of that, I would say. Okay. Oh, wow. Very different. There's more oakiness in the front with this, and then something later that comes later. Let's see what Flavier says. Flavier says, old gold with apricot hues, rich fruit aromas, sweet oakiness, pine, mint, honey, toffee, coconut. That's all supposed to be smelled. I don't know if I smell the pine and mint. Maybe a nose sharper than mine would be able to smell that. Taste. Fennel and spearmint. Tannic oaky notes. I definitely taste that. Malty sweetness. Nougat. This has a much more woody taste, I would say, than the 15-year. The 15-year has more of an old fruit taste, like old fruit, like raisins almost, or like that, like just like fruit that's been macerated in cognac or something like that. That's really what it smells or tastes like. Okay, so this sweet orange, fennel, spearmint, tannic oaky notes finishes with oak and moist raisin notes. yeah, this definitely is more woody tasting, which you would expect from an older whiskey. And also the fact that it spends so much time in the American oak barrels. And this one, the 15-year really gives you a lot of those tastes from the cognac barrel that it spends time in. Super unique. If you're interested in a unique and very affordable for a 15-year, I mean, many 12 years are the same price, 65 or so, or more sometimes. Those are both really good. I'm glad that I got a chance to taste those and share those with you, and I hope you get a chance to try one or both, have a wee dram, and enjoy. See you later. I thought when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to broadcast or to record last week, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have so much to show them. I don't have as much as I thought. I do have one FO though, which as you can imagine, it is a baby knit. It is the Flax Light by Tin Can Knits. I think last time I had it, I was knitting on one of the sleeves. So this time it's completely finished. And I really love it. I love the yarn. It's so cute. I think this is about 1 year size. That would be my guess. Maybe if the baby is big for her age, it might be a 6 month. It might fit her around 6 months, but it's pretty big. So I made the 6 to 12 months. Just for point of reference, there is one size smaller, which I thought for a pullover, you don't really want to do a pullover on a newborn. It's just their heads are so wobbly. I think a pullover is better for babies that can at least hold their head up, which happens somewhere in that 4 to 6 months or so. Yeah, so maybe even earlier, maybe 3 months, I guess. But yeah. The yarn was Deep Stash. I just love it. I love this beautiful rose color, this baby pink color with, or dusty pink color with the green and deeper red and brown speckles. It looks very spring-like. So it should be right on target if she's a little big for her age. Like if she's on the bigger size, which even if she's not, it should still fit her. My son was 100th percentile for a long, long time, probably until he was about 11 or 12, and then all his friends grew and he didn't. That's the way it goes. I mean, he was always the big kid on the playground until then. But yeah, so this is going to be shipped out. It actually matches the Baby Yoda hat that I finished last week quite well. So this is going to be shipped out to my son and my daughter-in-law for them to, think about what she might be like and whether or not she's, whether and when will it fit her. But yeah, I assume it'll fit her sometime around Easter next year. So yeah, that was fun. So of course, as soon as I cast off one baby knit, I cast on another. If you remember last time I showed you a hand spun that I was working on, I don't think it was done. So I do have it in my pile to show you. Usually I make a pile of things that I need to show you over there on the bed right behind Martha. There's a few things there that I'm working on, but also things that I need to put aside to show you. And I had put the finished skein over there, so that tells me that I didn't show it to you. Maybe I was in progress with it. I had been planning to use that yarn for the Elizabeth Zimmerman baby sweater. It's from this book. I just have a flag on where the pattern is. I'm going to put a picture on screen because the picture here is so teeny tiny. It's this one right here. It's so tiny you'll never see it, but I'll put a picture on screen of someone else's pattern. This is a pattern. I had talked about it last time quite a lot. I waxed poetically about it. It is a pattern that I discovered when it was published in Vogue in the early 90s, either 90 or 91. I don't really remember which year. I think it was 90. And it was I think the editors had modified the directions a little bit, but it is a top-down baby knit. that requires DK. So I was making this purpley green yarn. I know it's out of order, but I'm just going to show you now just because it'll make sense. It's all going to make sense to you. So I had been working on this. So this is now the finished skein. It's quite plump. It's a quite plump finished skein. This is from Kim Dye's Yarn, and I don't want to say it's Targhee. It's 100% Targhee wool. It is a 4-ounce braid that I made. So it's like 130 grams. That I made into a 3-ply. I ended up with a sport weight, which is fine, perfectly fine, but the pattern called for DK, and I had said a couple times in the past that I really wanted to, I'll talk more about that yarn when I get to spinning. If you're curious about more about what that was, I can show you the fleece, what it looked like. Anyway, it calls for a DK, and I had said that I wanted to knit the pattern as written, and then after I see how my gauge and stuff specs out size-wise, then I can start doing some modifications, maybe knitting with bigger needles or smaller needles, bigger yarn or smaller yarn, all of those things. So I realized that, I know I had said last time I didn't have any DK in my stash, but I realized that I had some single ply yarns that when I was practicing how to ply, I took a commercial spun single ply, but indie dyed. I had a bunch of single plies, and I had just decided that I wasn't going to use single plies for my own knitting anymore, except for shawls, just because it's very delicate and it pills quite a lot for garments. So for shawls, though, it doesn't really matter if you get some pilling. It just kind of adds to the charm. Anyway, I had taken a handful of single plies and practiced my plying techniques on my spinning wheel last spring, summer. And so this yarn, this was one of them that I had done that with. This was a rainbow-ish skein of, there's thunder going on. I wonder if you can hear it. I like it. It's so cool. Anyway, this was a rainbow-ish skein of pastel rainbow skein from Walk Collection, from Catherine Walk of Walk Collection. She's a German indie dyer. She's someone whose yarn I have collected several skeins of, and it's sitting behind me in my stash. This was something that I had put aside thinking that this might be a Vertices Unite baby blanket at some point, because that pattern needs 5 skeins or so, or not 5 full skeins, but 5 colors of DK weight yarn. So I thought I'll use it for that, and it seemed very girly to me, very feminine, even though maybe others don't agree with me. That's fine, but to me it just seemed very feminine. I have to say, like, can I just say a little bit about unisex? And I may have said this before, but the thing about, or gender neutral is really hard. Like, I remember feeling very comfortable putting my boys, my baby boys, in feminine, like what would be considered feminine knits. But the frustrating thing about that was that when we were out and they were in a color or style that was perceived to be more feminine, people thought they were girls, and I didn't like that. So I stopped putting the more feminine colors on my sons, because I just didn't want them to be interpreted, because people just like when you have a baby, they just talk. You get all the grandmas come out of the woodwork and give you all the advice and everything. Every time a baby cries, oh, they're hungry. Yeah, I just fed them. Anyway, I digress. So I wanted to be careful. I didn't necessarily want to use this for a boy, even though I think it would be okay mixed in with other colors. So I decided to go ahead and start the Elizabeth Zimmerman. That was a long way to a ham sandwich. I'm sorry about that. But nevertheless, I have started the Elizabeth Zimmerman sweater. You know, I've said this before, baby knit up so fast. This is probably just a couple evenings of knitting. I think I did the yoke in one sitting, and then I did the sleeve split and started the lace in the second sleeve setting. But yeah, so this is, I have about 4 more inches to go here. And then I do the trim and come back up and do the sleeves. I did modify the pattern slightly. The pattern, she says they're very pithy, which is a good way to, very accurate way to describe them. She doesn't tell you to put a buttonhole here, but I went ahead and did that because I remembered doing that before when I had knit the pattern. I also crafted the sleeve. I wrote myself notes. Notes are also on my project page if you have the same book and you're curious about, or you're interested in knitting this. I will have notes on my project page about the mods I did. I knit so that I split for the sleeves and put them on waste yarn. I think you can see that there. So then I'll be knitting the sleeves in the round, which I think makes more sense than she has you knit them flat and then seam up. So I don't really think a baby knit needs an underarm sleeve, a seam necessarily. But I forgot how nice the lace pattern is. And I remembered when I knit it before, I had knit different lace patterns as I went. So like I kept changing up the lace pattern. It's like a 7-stitch repeat lace pattern. So I just would find another 7-stitch repeat pattern and knit that in. And as usual with lace, what'll happen when I block it is that it will open up and it'll look a little more, you'll see those holes a little better than you see them right now. It'll be more like that. But I am so pleased with this. It's so cute. I think I mentioned before that my son really loves orange. I was looking at this going, oh no. It looks like I'm making another orange thing for this, another orange garment or something for this baby. Okay, what else have I got knitting free? Oh, I have a sad knitting story to tell you. But, let me talk about what Martha's wearing. I also didn't tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing a t-shirt from Shelli.can. If you know her, Shelly Martinez, she is a Maryland or Virginia based, I think it's Virginia, based craft maker. She knits, but she doesn't make yarn or anything like that. Instead, she does accessories and things for knitters. So this is a t-shirt that I got, I think it's for Sheep and Wool, for New York Sheep and Wool, in Rhinebeck 2019. I got some more Shelly swag that I'm going to show you at the end in my acquisitions. Okay, what is Martha wearing? This knit, I worked so much on this over last weekend, and I really thought I would have it done this week, but I was kind of burnt out. So here's what I've realized. This is a rib knit. I realized that as much as I can grind through stockinette, rib stitch, not so much. I can knit on it, but I'm not a good grinder with rib stitch. It gets a little tedious for me because I have to stop and look at what I'm doing. So this is my long-winded way of saying this is a little bit slower of a knit. So yeah, I thought I would be done. And actually, this is the first time I've put it on the dress form, and I have knit the body from the armhole to about 10 inches. And the pattern says, this is Rye Layering Tee, my own pattern. So the pattern says, I wrote in the pattern to knit to 15 inches, 15 and a half, I think, from the underarm. And as I'm knitting this, I'm like, 15 and a half, that's so long. Like, why do I need to do 15 and a half? Looking at it, I can see why I needed to do 15 and a half. Because it's not really fitted, but it's rib knit. It'll kind of hug the curves. It just looks, this would look ridiculous on me. I guess it would kind of work like this as a vest, like a cropped vest, but it's not the look I'm going for. I really want to be able to just throw this on over jean shorts or a skirt or something, and later on in the summer when it's done. So, yeah. I have 5 more inches to knit, more or less, maybe 6. Yeah, that'll bring it down to like almost where the t-shirt is. which I think will be perfect. There will be some growth. It is a super wash, so there will be some growth. I did get the neck trim done, so I started on my second skein, and if I have enough, which I think I will, I have a pretty substantial amount. This is more than half left. The yarn, I'm kind of all over the place. I apologize. I kind of feel like I'm bouncing around. The yarn is Sweet Sparrow, and it is called It's a Mystery. I didn't realize this about her. She's doing another round of mystery yarns, so mystery single skeins, doubles, 2 skeins, 1 skein, 2 skeins, or 4 skeins. She's doing mystery sets, and they're at a steep discount of what her normal prices are. She's a New Jersey-based dyer. She used to live by me, and then she's moved out to the countryside. If you follow her on Instagram, a lot of her stuff is about nature and her the landscape and stuff around her. She's a very gentle soul. If you follow her on Instagram, you know exactly what I mean. I mean, I love her. She's like so amazing and as a dyer, and she seems like the sweetest person. Anyway, she's known for pastels mainly. So when I saw the Instagram post when I bought this yarn, she is known for, she makes a lot of very soft pastels, and I thought I was getting soft pastels, and I was getting mystery skeins. I ordered two of her sport base because I knew I would need 2 for a tank top for this pattern, the Rye Layering Tee pattern. And I got these instead, which they're beautiful. I mean, my friends last weekend were gushing about the color. They were saying how much they love it. It's such a wearable color. I'm going to wear the crap out of this thing when it's done. But it was unexpected. So anyway, what I found out, what she's doing, oh my gosh, her name just went out of my head. Anyway, with the dyer of Sweet Sparrow, oh my goodness, why can't I think of her name? Julie of Sweet Sparrow. What she's doing is she's selling off her test skeins. So skeins that she's used as a test for her yarn line. That's her tag. So she just called them all It's a Mystery. So I was trying to figure it out. I was like, oh, did she dye like a bunch of brown? Because that's so out of character for her. But she was apparently like doing test skeins and then ended up with extra and held on to them. And so she just decided that it was time to sell them off. So so she has a current It's a Mystery sale going on right now. If you're interested in purchasing. I'm not sponsored. I'm just a fan of her. So yeah, hopefully I have enough yarn left after I do the 6 inches or so, to come back up and knit a short sort of cap sleeve just over the bicep sleeve. This is unblocked, so all of the rib will relax, and while this looks like it's not on the shoulder, it will be. The shoulder line's right there. It will relax and move over onto the shoulder, as will a lot of all this tightness on the body will also relax and ease and look better, I think. Okay, am I ready for my sad story? Oh, I have one more knit which I left over by the couch. That I made progress on. You've seen it, but you haven't seen it for a few weeks. I made some progress, speaking about grinding through plain stockinette. I made some progress on my pink velvet sweater. Made a lot of progress actually, because I could grind through. It goes this way. There we go. So this is Pink Velvet by Andrea and Mowry. So last time I showed you, I had just finished the color work. I was probably around here. I hadn't split for the sleeves yet. Now I have split for the sleeves, and I'm in the body and just pleasantly grinding around and around in plain stockinette. The whole rest of the sweater now is plain stockinette. Let me tell you about the yarn. I didn't do any mods, did I? I might have done a little bit of changing for size, like because I knit loose, so my gauge is almost always bigger. If I use same yarn and needle size, I'm always a little on the big side, so it can either go down a needle size or just fudge the size. So in this case, I think I fudged the size, so I'm probably knitting like a small to get a medium or something like that, or maybe along those lines. I love this yarn, and I just really love this yarn combo. I had heard about this sweater. Of course, I follow Andrea Mowry on Instagram, and she's a machine. She just cranks out something new all the time. And I had heard about this. Like I shouldn't say I heard about it, but I became interested in it watching Dunderknit. Caroline of Dunderknit had talked about it a while back, and I was like, oh my God. I was sitting there watching her, just going, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, Andrea Mowry made another really beautiful pattern. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I think I have yarn in my stash for this sweater. And then of course I had to cast it on. So that's what happened. The main body is this beautiful deep dark green called Squid Ink Pasta. And it is by the Little Gray Sheep. It is their Steinwool Fine Wool collection. I love it. It's so beautiful. When I bought this, I originally thought, I have a son who loves green, and I thought, not my orange loving son who's going to be a dad. One of my other boys loves green, and I had thought to myself, like, maybe I'll make a sweater for him. But I'm going to come back to that. I ended up not using it for him. Like, I realized that I wasn't going to be using it for him before I chose to go ahead and knit it in this. And then this beautiful baby suri, melted baby suri. This is from Ching Fibers. That's what the pattern calls for. Andrea knit the pattern in Ching Fiber suri here, just like me. And then her body was also Ching Fiber. I think she used single plies. It's really pretty. Mine is the colorway Aurora, so it's sort of this gradient green, pale pink, and orange, a lot of orange. I think it looks so good. I haven't really been working on this a lot, other than this is my one mindless, I can knit without thinking piece, which is great I made progress on it because I was visiting with friends. So it's great for like sitting around and chatting with friends or watching a movie. And not, one that you really want to pay attention to, and you just want, to clickety clack with ease and not worry. So that's why this ended up getting some love. It's the only easy knit I have because I've got the lace work baby cardigan, and I've got this rib knit tank top that is coming along, or short sleeve sweater, summer sweater, which is coming along. Okay, now you're ready for my sad tale. So I was craving something challenging to knit. So I thought for a long time, I'll put a picture on screen, but first I'm just going to show you the pattern. For a long while, I have had this pattern. I purchased this pattern by Katherine Schneider. It's called Mirtha, and it's a lace cardigan. So beautiful. I think I purchased this close to a year ago. I'd have to see when I queued it. It was after I queued it, so it was probably maybe right around now, like June, July. What happened was I had some yarn on hand that I had 2 skeins of this yarn. This one right here. I'm just going to show it to you. This is a Julie Aslin yarn. It's a wool silk blend, and it's called Road to Rhinebeck. And I think it's been the Rhinebeck color. I think it was the Rhinebeck color in 2017 and 2018 and maybe even 2019. I'm not sure. It's really pretty. It's like pretty much this like medley, this gray medley of reds and golds and browns, like all of the colors that you would see on the pavement heading to Rhinebeck in the fall. Because Rhinebeck takes place in upstate New York, which is very countrified, and these narrow 2-lane country roads are the road to Rhinebeck. So I had purchased 2 skeins of this Julie Aslin Road to Rhinebeck color in 2018. So I had this sitting in my stash, and somehow I made the connection that this yarn should be this sweater. And so I scoured Ravelry and I found a third skein because I realized that I would need 3 skeins if I wanted to make a garment with it. So found a third skein, found someone who was willing to sell their single skein of Road to Rhinebeck. I bought it, it came, I caked the yarn and it sat for a while. So it probably sat from like August or September all the way to last month, a couple weeks ago, when I was like, I'm craving something a little more challenging. Now I'm going to cast this on. I'm finally going to cast this on. So I knit a bit. I'm going to show you a picture of how far I knit. I knit to like about here. So about right before you split for sleeves, but you start the lace. So she has you do all the shoulder shaping and then you start the lace. And the lace is just in the front. It's in the 2 front sections. And I knit about 8 rows of that lace. And I realized that it was a bad match of yarn and pattern because this has silk. So silk makes yarn slippery. And that was a lace pattern that I had to be able to do the lace pattern from the reverse. And when I got to a row that had 2 yarn overs, because you're knitting back and forth, you're not knitting in the round, I really, really, really don't like doing charts back and forth. I like to do charts in the round because I want to see the right side. It's just easier for me to, I'm sure it's easier for you too. It's easier for me, I think it's easier for most people to be able to just read your knitting from the front. Reading it from the back is a little more difficult to understand because also all of your mess is on the back too. So when I got to the row that had 2 yarn overs, like every few stitches, that just ruined me. I just could not. I could make it work, but it was so miserable. I was just like, you know what? Done. And I frogged the whole thing, which is why you're seeing this skein rolled like this. I will go recake it into a nice cute cake, and I will look for a pattern that will suit the drapeability of this blend. It is just so pretty. Oh, it's it's Merino cashmere silk. I just pulled the tag out. I'll show you. So it's her. I think she's from Montreal, so a Canadian dyer. It's not gonna. But you can read it even though it's blurry, right? It's not gonna focus. So that's my sad knit tale. So then I was just like, wow, you know what? Ching Fiber had said that the sweater that I waxed poetic about last week, or 3 weeks ago, last episode, is coming out. So I'm going to talk to you more about that when I get to spinning. And then I also realized that I should probably just get going on Christmas gifts. So my son who likes green, I realized that I really wanted to make this cabled dragon pullover for him for either birthday or Christmas. So I had purchased this yarn a while back. This is from Jill Draper Make Stuff. It is her Kingston base, which is 100% Targy. I'm like in Targy land right now. So I went ahead and swatched for the sweater. What I'm going to do, so I'm probably going to cast this on soonish. I might have it cast on by the next time I see you. I went ahead and swatched so I knew what needle size to do, and then I made myself a crap ton of notes. I am using the Go-To Raglan by Stephen West as the base. So this dragon cable pattern that I'm talking about, when you purchase the pattern, it's like a bajillion pages. I think it's like 25 pages. But the pattern is literally just this dragon. It's nothing else. It's just the dragon. And she tells you how many stitches and all of that. So then you figure out in your own knitting where it's going to be placed. So you have to find, if you want to put it on a sweater, you have to find some other sweater pattern. And this might sound familiar to you if you follow Kristy Glass, because Kristy Glass has had made this for her Rhinebeck sweater. And as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists. And I did not know. Because my sons all love fantasy and science fiction and all of that stuff. So I was just like, this has to be for one of them, or maybe all of them. But let me try the smallest. I'm giving it to the smallest guy first, just to see how it all works. So that is who is getting this sweater. And with the go-to raglan is top down. And I quickly realized after I purchased the dragon pattern that there is no way I could do the dragon cable in reverse because she has it as bottom up. But I was able to convert the pattern, the go-to raglan, easily from bottom up. So I will be knitting the dragon go-to raglan / dragon sweater bottom up. I'm going to knit in the round as far as I can. I'm going to knit in the round, and then I have to knit the dragon pattern flat because she knits it flat, so the pattern is written flat. And I don't think I can figure out, and I'll have to look at it deeper, but I don't think I can figure out how to convert some of the stitches because there's a lot of cable overlaps, like cables curling this way and that. I think I'll be okay doing it flat. So I'm going to probably just do the front flat until the cable is over, and then I'll do the back flat, and then I will join them at the armhole-ish and knit the top, knit the rest, do the decreases and all of that. I think it should work. So we'll see. It's a grand experiment. But I thought that cable pattern will give me some challenging knit, some way to challenge myself and have a challenging knit to do, which I think I'm kind of craving, which was why I reached for that lace sweater that now I don't think that lace pattern is for me. That Mirtha, I don't think it's for me. I just don't. Yeah. That lace pattern was so long. It was so many rows. The little baby knit lace pattern that I make is it's 4 rows. Two rows where you actually do something. The other 2 you're just purling. That's my kind of lace pattern. Well, if you're knitting back and forth. If you're knitting in the round, I don't mind doing something every round. That's fine. It's just really slow. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll get that started. I figured out I have to knit about 8 inches before I start the dragon. So we'll see what happens. So that is one knit. The other knit that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my hand spun. So I think we can turn to hand spun. It has been tour de fleece for the last 10, no, wait, let me get it straight. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days. It has been tour de fleece for the last 11 days. I think there's still another 10 or so days to go. It's probably a little less, actually. It's probably like 9 days. There's about a few more days to go, at least over a week to go. So the entire time, this is all I've been working on. And this is going to be another new cast on. I was very purposeful in what I was spinning. I have a specific project in mind, and it is I want to say it's called the Kima pullover. The pattern was just released yesterday. Pattern was released yesterday. It is by Ching Fiber, by Layla of Ching Fiber. She wrote the pattern, I think, or someone in her team wrote the pattern. And I had fallen in love with it and became obsessed with this pattern when I first saw it on Instagram and in a newsletter from her. And I started to scheme about what stash yarn, as I always do. Do I have stash to knit that, or do I need to buy something? So I was scheming about, I really wanted, by now I've put the picture on, and she did a very hot neon color on top with a pale pastel for the bottom part, and the yarn that's on the bottom is her Veronita blend. On top is just a classic DK. So I thought I would make a DK weight yarn for my for the top of that, and I need 2 skeins. It's about 400 to 500 yards, I think, for my size. And I have made 280 yards here of a 4-ply. I know you're probably sitting there going, show us the yarn. So this is a 4-ply that I did for Tour de Fleece. It is I combined 2 different fleeces that I had on hand, 2 different roving braids that I had on hand. One is from Stitch Together Studio. The card is very far away. That is the bright one. I'm going to just put a picture on here so you can see what it looks like. The bright color is from that. And then there was I had this paler white color that went really nicely together with the bright one. It was mostly white, but it had pops of the same pink and orange and blues in it. So they blended really nicely. And so what I ended up doing with this 4-ply, I made two bobbins of 2 plies that were one of the bright and one of the white. And so I ended up with two whites and 2 brights for the entire 4-ply. And it is indeed DK weight. Now that I've made this yarn, so this has been soaked and everything, it's ready to be caked and swatched. I was looking at Layla's DK, which she wrote the pattern for, and I think it's a much thicker yarn because her yardage, this is a 100 gram or like 3 ounces or so, little over 3 ounce weight and 280 yards. Perfect DK. Hers is 140 grams and it's like 240 yards, 220 yards. So they call it grist in spinning, Grist. That's how many yards per pound you get. So I would get many more yards per pound with this yarn than she would with her yarn. There's a disconnect in I'm going to have a different gauge for sure, but I'm going to mess around with it. The pattern is knit on very big needles. So I don't even know if I have needles this big. She knits them on, she wrote the millimeters, so I don't want to get it wrong. She knit them on, the smallest needle is a 9, and then she also used a 10.5 or 10 3/4 or 7 millimeter and a 9 millimeter, size 13. So size 9 is 5.5 millimeter. So big needles. So I'm going to see how my gauge matches. So now that I've shown this to you, I will be caking this and swatching to just see how it comes out. The fibers, this ended up being a pretty interesting blend. It is 40% merino, 40% targhee, 5% cashmere, 5% sparkle, which I think is Angelina or Firestar, one of the two, and then 5% bamboo, 5% silk. So this is a pretty interesting blend. Very drapey. I mean, I think it'll be more drapey than 100% wool would be. And the Veronita base that she has for underneath, or for the bottom part of the sweater, is a cashmere silk blend, and it's lace weight. I first thought, I was scheming about my stash, right? So I thought, it turns out I have this beautiful yarn that I bought in Venice at Le Bella in Venice, and it is a cashmere silk lace weight. So you can see there it says Cashmere Sita, and it is, the brand is, sorry, I should have showed it to you this way, Filatura di Crosto. So I thought that this will be fine. I'll be able to use this, but I don't really like these together all that much. I mean, I think actually on screen it doesn't look that bad, but I thought I could do better. So I took a look at what Layla had in her Veronita base because I realized I sort of figured out that I only needed 2 skeins. And so 2 skeins, it's a lot of yardage, but not so much cost. So I was like, well, I'm using stash fiber, so I can purchase some yarn. So I ended up buying, it's not here yet, I'll show you next time. I ended up buying some sort of a buttery yellow color. I think she calls it butterscotch, but I'm assuming it's going to be something like that yellow right there. That sort of a golden yellow. But I think that'll look a lot better with this color. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. Let me just go over this, and then I have a couple stash things that I'm going to show you. Okay, so I talked about this briefly before. This is a 3-ply yarn that I made ahead of Tour de Fleece. I ended up finishing it up. It's such a big, beefy chunk. I was going to use this for the baby knit, and then I had a couple issues. One was that it's sport weight, not DK, and I wasn't sure. I thought the colors might be a little dark for a baby. And then I also realized, so I have a secret knit that I'm working on. So I realized that I really wanted to use this for the secret knit. So I decided that I have 2 more braids of that. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is what it looks like as roving. That nice murky green in there, and the plum and blue. It's very mermaidy. So I decided to go ahead and do the other. It's part of my Tour de Fleece challenge. To spin the other 2 skeins to get the full Kim Dye's yarn, to get the full effect, or the full amount, full yardage that I need. And then I thought, you know what? After I'm done with Secret Project, if I have enough, I'll make the baby a Elizabeth Zimmerman, maybe a little bit bigger size, hopefully, just by putting in more repeats to get bigger. Because I think it'll look good on her when she's a little older, like maybe when she's walking around when she's a toddler. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what happens with that. I didn't tell you about, again, sorry, I'm a little, you'd think just taking 1 week off would make me not be so scattered. This is the second half, this 2-ply of this. So you can just see the difference. So this will be the second skein of this yarn. This is just the bright and the white. So the white is also Kim Dye's yarn. And the pink, the bright colors are Stitch Together Studio, as I said before. All right. How am I doing? We're down to Stashquisitions. Okay. Because it was Tour de Fleece, I bought a special Tour de Fleece color. Look at how pretty this is. I just couldn't not buy it. I just love it, these little rolags. They're so puny, too. I don't know if I've ever seen rolags so little. Look at them. So beautiful, right? This is from Green Goat Ranch, and it is made out of merino, wool neps, and sparkle. It is so soft. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to actually not having a spinning goal, so I could just play. Because when this came, I probably would have set aside whatever I was spinning and put this on my spinning wheel. However, I have a goal. And I also, because it was Pride, so I'm a huge fan, as you know, of Amy of Stranded Dye Works. I love watching her podcast. I think she's so amazing as a person. I've never met her. I wanted to. I never just missed her at a couple festivals when she was over here. And she did a rainbow set. She actually has one, I think, going in her shop today, a full skein. Like, she did a rainbow mini set too. And I thought, as much as I liked it, I loved what she did. She did sort of like a speckled way of making a rainbow so that they connected, like each of the colors connected. I thought to myself, I should look around for someone here in the States instead of paying all the extra shipping and all of that, because I know there are people that make a lot of really cool rainbow skeins. So I got this rainbow skein set. Oh my goodness, I don't remember who this is from. Oh yeah, I want to say it's from Neighborhood Fiber Company. I'm gonna double check though if I'm wrong. It is 20-gram skeins. It is 7 of them, and it is it says on here, it doesn't actually say the person who made it. Studio Sock base, which is 100% superwash. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, and I know it kind of breaks my rule of buying yarn and just put it in my stash, not knowing what I'm going to do with it. But I don't know, I just have been craving a rainbow package for to put away and think about. I may end up doing what Amy's doing, which she's been knitting some marled baby blankets in rainbow pattern, so I might do that. This would be really cool. And what she does is she takes if you're not familiar with her podcast, she takes the rainbow yarns and puts in, sorry, lost my train of thought. She takes the rainbow colors and makes a big rainbow cake out of them, and then marls it with a white or like an undyed white cream color, so that it blends the rainbow a little bit better, I guess. Like it makes the breaks in color less jarring. So it's kind of an interesting thought. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just hold on to it. I just felt like I should have one. I should have a rainbow. So there is that. And last, I got some Shelli.can stuff. Shelli.can does all kinds of really fun knitting related and crafty things. Sorry about all the crinkling. I seem to have gotten some things stuck in the bag. So I ordered this t-shirt, the Mite Club, because it has this is basically what I do in the evenings when I'm alone. I'm either knitting or I'm playing a video game. I didn't know I was a gamer, right? I have boys, so I'm the mom of boys. When you're the mom of boys, you game. So my sons game, and we chat about gaming all the time, so it's fun. It's very fun. So this was cute. I really love it. And then I also purchased 2 of these. These are face masks made out of this toilet paper print that she made just as the coronavirus was starting, the pandemic was starting to hit us, and we were sort of floundering with toilet paper and couldn't seem to get toilet paper anywhere. So I have this one, and then I have another one that's got pink background that's in my car because I've already worn it. And then she gave me some swag. So I have some Yarn Snob stickers. Sorry, it should be this way. It's a packet of, I think, 6 or so. And I think I ordered this because I do like patches. I feel like knit. And some other flair. I got a sticker, which I don't think you're going to be able to see. It's kind of a hologram sticker. I also bought a puzzle of the toilet paper, but I'll put a picture in here if I remember. And she put in a really cute little thank you card. Oh, and and there's another sticker. Oh, cool. She gave me another one too. I wanted to say though that I have to take furlough. So furlough is when you don't work and don't get paid. So it's not paid vacation. So the next 2 weeks I will be on furlough. Everyone in my university got some sort of furlough, just depending on what union people were in. So it's fine. I'll be okay. It's set up in a way that I can collect unemployment for the couple weeks that I'll be out. So I thought, so why am I telling you all of this? I thought I might do daily vlogs, and I don't know, I'm going to come up with some cutesy name for them. So I may do daily vlogs starting either Sunday or Monday, and then just going all the way through furlough, and they'll be somewhere between 5 to 15 minutes, and I have a couple ideas of stuff that I'll share with you. I don't think I'm going to travel. There's a slight chance I'll travel towards the end out to a friend's house. It's his birthday, one of the friends I was hanging out with last weekend. I know he's keeping himself safe, so I feel comfortable going there. But yeah, other than that, I'll probably just be around the house. And I thought I might, share with you what I get up to. It might just be a lot of crafting and cleaning. I don't know. But I thought it could be fun. It might be fun. I have a couple ideas of things to show you. Anyway, that is it for my show today. That is all I have to share with you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're doing okay. I hope that, if you're in a state that is, if you live in the U.S. and you're in a state that is surging right now with coronavirus cases, that you're keeping safe and you're wearing a mask and you're staying home. We here in the Northeast, we self-isolated. We right away, even before the governors were saying stay home, we stayed home. And we're so careful. It was scarier then because there was less known about how it spreads, and now they're really figuring out that it mostly spreads through the air in indoor spaces where there's prolonged contact. So anyway, I hope you're staying safe and that you're hanging in there. And if we all work together, we'll get through this, and it should be okay. It should be. It's going to be different, but it's still, I think, will be okay. So I am going to end it here, and I will see you on daily vlogs, or if those vlogs aren't for you, I totally understand. It's fine. I will see you in 2 weeks, or perhaps even 3 weeks, with a new episode. Bye!